As a life coach, I have learned so many different skills and techniques and tools, and I've worked with so many teachers and taken their courses and learned their methods. And it's all in the name of helping people holistically. This is my belief. I don't think that there is one size fits all. And I like to learn as many different things as possible because people are so complicated and so individualized and so different that what works for one person won't work for everybody. But there's this one skill that I really don't talk about. And it's not because I'm embarrassed or ashamed. It's because I literally don't know how to talk about it because it's not something that's mainstream. And the average person, like to me, it's just normal. But when I talk about it to just a regular person, they're looking at me like, what are you talking about? And so I just stopped talking about it. And what this skill or technique is, it's called energy healing. So flashback maybe 10, 12 years ago, I don't know, I decided I was going to take this training that popped into my awareness, and it's called Integrative Energy Healing. Now, you could liken it to Reiki. So it's based on energy, but Reiki is like a couple of different levels, and you would take, a weekend course and somebody would teach you, then you'd advance to the next level. But this integrative energy healing I took actually through a local college, but it was a 3-year program. And the way it worked was every other month we would get together in the forest for one whole week and we would do all our training during that week. And then for the rest of the time, we would be practicing it and we would be giving energy healings. We needed to do like 300 hours before we graduated. So we were putting it into practical application and doing our assignments and handing it in. And so for that one week, we would go away into this sacred forest and we would all stay together. But we would open every single week with a fire ceremony. So we were talking this is they have taken the best of all of the healing modalities and put it into this integrative energy healing course. So, yes, all of it was Eastern, some sort of Eastern traditional medicine, but it wasn't just one. It was like what they could see would be the most helpful and that had the biggest impact and effect on people. And so every week we would go and we would be spiritual and we would be with nature and we would learn these amazing skills. And the biggest one that we would draw from was traditional Chinese medicine. So a lot of what we learned was based on our chakras and it was based on our meridians. So basically, it's based on everything being energy, and our body is no different. So our body is just a whole bunch of energy, but it runs in systems and circuits. And so we have our chakras, which are our main energy points, and they're spinning like a clock. And they're like the funnels that start small and come out, and they have different colors and different energies, and they represent different things. But then we have our meridians, and our meridians, we have our central meridians, and then all the meridians that run around the outside. And each energetic meridian is connected to an organ, a system. And when you look at traditional Chinese medicine or classical Chinese medicine, you can see that they look at a human being as a holistic entity. In Western medicine, they look at it as just a symptom. So it's like, hey, you have a headache, take this pill. But they're not asking what's causing the headache. But in traditional Chinese medicine, they look at the system that isn't working and where the energy runs, and they're finding a block or a disconnect in that system because everything is based on chi, on life force. And if there's a block, the energy isn't getting through. And that's why you're experiencing this thing. Your body is telling you where the block is in the system. And so you would look at the meridian and say, oh, this is this system here. Which organ is it? So the meridians are based on the lung, the stomach, the spleen. And then from there, they would give their diagnosis and their treatment based on that. And the way they do it is they look at your body and they look at your organs and they see what feedback your body is giving you. And that's how they track it down. And you can connect into the energy as well. So, like I said, I studied this for 3 years in this really amazing way. And I have the ability to understand how people's energy is or isn't flowing, where the blockages are, and how to clear it and how to get it flowing. And so everything is energy. And I can tap into your energy, even if you're on the other side of the world, because energy has no beginning and no end. And energy never dies, it just transforms. So when we in this physical form are done with this life, our energy carries on. So our body doesn't, but our energy does. And our energy is connected into the universe. So everything that ever was and ever shall be, you have access to that with this energy. I know it's mind blowing. And so this is why I never really talked about it, is I just didn't know how to tell people about this because this isn't taught in school. This is not our societal norm. This is not what our culture believes. But this goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it is just so powerful that when I work with my clients, I use this all the time. Most of the times I won't tell them what I'm doing just because it's hard to explain or they just might not understand it. And the reason I wanted to share this with you is because everybody has this ability. Like I can do it only because I put energy into understanding it. And I learned from other people that do it and I practiced it. So for me, it just comes naturally to me. But you have the ability too. And I was thinking even more like, how does this apply? How is this relevant to a midlife mom? And I really believe that when we're raising our kids, we use our magical energy powers without even realizing that we're doing it. And we put it all on our kids to help them learn, to heal them. It's just, it comes in the form of love. So every drop of energy that we're putting on our kids comes from love. And so that's what they're receiving. And that is the connection that we have. And that's how powerful it is. So even though we don't realize we're doing it, we're sending this energy to them. We're connected to them through this intense, intense love. Do you remember the moment that they were born, having this overwhelming feeling of unconditional love? Do you remember that? I experienced that 2 times in my life. Okay, maybe three, but 2 times for sure. And it was when both of my children were born and not since, because that is the connection that we have, unconditional love. And it is so powerful, so powerful. And how can you use this? How can you tap into this? I want you just to sit with your feet flat on the floor. So if you're driving or walking or whatever, you can do this as, you could do this. Uh, yeah, you could do it now for sure, except if you're driving. But if you're walking, you could do this. So I want you to think of just the person that you love most in the world and just feel that in your heart. And then every time you breathe in, I want you to think about how much you love that person. And then exhale, just let it go. And then every time you breathe in, just think about all the things you love and how you feel when you're around this person. And just feel your heart grow with every inhale that you have. And then I want you to put your hands out in front of you. And I want you to take that big ball of love, this bright, colored, warm, pulsating love, and just put it into your hands in front of you. And just imagine there's a big ball there and it's full of love. Just the most powerful love that you could ever imagine for this person that you love more than anything else in the world. And just notice what you feel in between your hands. Just notice it. What does that feel like? Can you see there's some resistance there, like where you feel the edges of the energy, the ball of the energy? Is it pulsating? Is it warm? Is it hot? What color is it? Does it make a sound? Just notice that feeling. Just notice how much you love that person unconditionally. You'd do anything for that person. They're your heart and your soul. They're your life. They're your reason for living. They're your air. They're your breath. And just feel that energy in between your hands and just notice it. And then just come back into this moment. Like that's what I'm talking about right there, right there. And so when I work with somebody, I pick up on that and I get so much information from that. But as a mom, we have this ability too, because this is how we just create a safe space for our kids. We love them so much and we just share that love with them. That energetic connection is there forever. Even when your child goes off to college or travel the world, that connection is still there and you can access it anytime you want. And what I want to offer up is when those kids do go away, which they're supposed to, it's okay. Let's let them go. Now we can take this energy and focus it back on ourselves. So think about all that energy that you put into teaching your children how to be amazing human beings, into teaching your children how to believe in themselves, that they can do anything, they can learn anything, they can make that team, they can get into that school, they can learn that skill, they can get that job, they can be okay after that breakup, like all the things. And what if we took all of that loving, powerful energy and focused it on ourselves? How amazing is that? When we look at energy in this way, there's scientific proof that we can physically change who we are through this energy. And it's called epigenetics. So there used to be a time when we believed that our DNA was our DNA. And now we believe that we can trigger things inside of ourselves that can turn on and off certain genes and markers, which changes our DNA. And this is called epigenetics. And it's based on our thinking. Our thoughts create our feelings. And so if we have this big desire to heal ourselves, then we're going to be thinking energetically, I want to heal myself. And we're going to be pulling up this energy of healing energy. And it's going to help release certain hormones in our body. Like our hormones rule everything, and they're created in our body. And the energy that we put towards ourselves can create these hormones and create these healing effects. Yes, the body is designed to heal itself, and we have the power to change. Remember, our environment is everything. So a lot of how we are today is from the environment that we grew up in, but it's not just our external environment, it's our internal environment. And so a lot of the times we get that internal environment from whoever raised us. But I want to say, let's check into that and let's take that back and say, is this the internal environment that I want? So how are we talking to ourselves? Every thought we have is creating that internal environment, and it's usually subconscious. So if we're negative talking to ourselves, we're probably not aware of it, but it's creating this negative environment. And that's the energy that's going to start blocking things, and it's going to start bringing us down. And our outer world is just a reflection of what's going on inward. So if there's something outside that we're creating, a result we're creating, and we don't like it, we want to go inward and see why we created that for ourselves, how we created that for ourselves. We never have to look outside of ourselves for the answer. Everything we need to know and every tool that we have, every answer to fix and change things is inside of us. And so when we go inside, that's when the powerful magic happens. And you have this ability. So remember that everything you think gets turned into a reality, into your body, and then it creates something outside of yourself. So if you're wanting to change something, you want to start with that way you're feeling. And a lot of the times we have this negative thought stream that goes on just without us even being aware of it. So subconscious means it's running without us seeing it or thinking about it or knowing about it. Think about your morning routine. I say this all the time. When you're brushing your teeth, you're not thinking about brushing your teeth. When you're breathing, you're not thinking about breathing. When you're walking, you're not thinking about walking. These just happen subconsciously. Like it takes a lot of work for your body to do these things, but it just happens. How? Because we've done it so often, our brain is like, okay, yep, got it. I'll just put this here under do it on your own because I don't need to think about doing this because your brain is designed for three things. It wants to avoid pain, seek pleasure, and conserve energy. So anything that your brain can put on autopilot, it will. And then it just becomes part of the subconscious. And so when we start to really think about what environment are we creating? What is our subconscious doing and saying that's running the show? Then we take our power back. Then we can create anything. We realize that any change, any result, it's not outside of ourselves, but it's here in our thinking, here in our heart. And we realize how powerful that our thoughts are. And if we want to change this version of ourselves, then we start with thinking positive thoughts all day, every day. I definitely am a conscious thinker. I'm a thinker of my thoughts and I'm the watcher of my thoughts. And I know that if something isn't feeling good, if I'm experiencing something I don't like, that I get to create it inside of myself, not only from the thought point of view, but from the energetic point of view, which can change the physiological, the physical, the emotional, the mental, all of it. It's so powerful. And I wanted to share this with you today because I just wanted to put it into your awareness that that was possible for you too, that you can change anything that's going on inside here. And it starts with awareness, always with awareness. But if your subconscious is running the show and it's running the show with negative thoughts and feelings, then energetically, that's what your cells are being built from. Our body is always rebuilding itself. And if you're in the negative, then it's building it with this negative energy. And so you're always going to prove yourself right. You're always going to find what you're looking for. If you're thinking the world is a bad place, then you're going to prove that. If you're thinking that people are horrible, then you're going to prove that. But if you think that anything is possible, then you're going to prove that too. And you're going to see evidence of it because you're looking for that. Whatever you look for, you'll find. And this all happens energetically inside of ourselves. So if we're having an issue going on, we build up that energy, that love energy, and we take our energy there and we put it on that spot. So if my knee is swollen, I take that love energy, I focus it all up and I get it built up really high and good. And then I'll just put it on my knee and I'll let that energy seep into those cells that are creating that firing of all of these chemical chains that are creating that. It's the same thing for any emotion. It's the same thing for any energy blockage. And when we have traumas in our past, there are energy blockages. A trauma is something that happened that was such a big emotional response that it got trapped somewhere in our meridians. Remember how I talked about how our energy flows in meridians and it all is attached to our organs and our systems? And so sometimes, so when we have like a health issue, it's just related to this energetic block. And in Western medicine, they're like, hey, it's this thing here. But in traditional Chinese medicine, they're like, it's this emotional response. It's this trapped emotion. It's this blockage of your chi, which is your life force. So let's unblock that. And here's different ways we can do it. We can energetically unblock it. We can unblock it with herbs and food. Food is the biggest medicine that you could ever possibly want to get your hands on. And you eat food every single day. So every single day that you're eating food, you're either healing your body or you're making it sick. That's how powerful it is. And you get the opportunity to do that all day, every day. So when I'm eating my food, I'm thinking I'm healing my body. This is so powerful. And think of using that energy. Like think about the powerful thoughts that I'm having around my food, that this food is healing my body. And I'm putting that energy onto the food and I'm putting that energy into my body. Like, wow, this is endless possibilities here. And you can tap into the universe that everything that has happened and will happen, you have access to that. You just got to put the time and effort into learning how. And what's the number one way that you can tap into this kind of stuff is just through your awareness, through your breath work. And that one little exercise that I gave you, where you think about the person that you love the most and just bring your attention to the love that you feel in your heart and just let it grow and grow and grow. And then before you know it, it's from the top of your head to the tip of your toes and it's dripping out of your fingertips and you can apply it to anything you want. And this is how we use it in midlife when we are lost and we're struggling. We can put this mama energy back onto ourselves, heal our hearts, ignite our purpose, really get intimate with who we are and tap into that inside energy and spirit and create whatever and whoever we want from this moment forward. So I'm like super excited for you to listen to this because I feel for those that are ready, this is going to change your life. It's an invitation for you to step into other realms and other possibilities of what you can create for yourself with this energy that you have and you've been putting on to other humans for so long. So now's the time for you to shine this light on yourself. Turn it back on yourself. It is the most powerful thing that you could ever understand and learn how to use for good. Oh my gosh. So go out there and be curious and run with it. You can't do it wrong. Just practice it. Just experience it. What if? Be curious. So if you lead with curiosity, you're always going to win. Mm. Thank you for listening, my friends. Always, always, always love yourself first and have an amazing day.